In this video, I want to take a look at Global Esports, one of the new partnership teams going into VCT Pacific next year. I want to look at basically the players they've signed so far. I want to look at the rough roles that we expect them to be in. And more importantly, I want to look at a few of the rumors surrounding this roster at the moment. Now, you might be wondering why Global Esports are the first team I'm going to be taking a look at heading into Brazil and the partnership. And the main reason is it seems like they're taking a route different to every other roster we currently have within the scene, and this involves looking to create a 10-man roster with basically players being picked from all over the Pacific region and even importing some as well. It makes them a very exciting team to look at initially because we're sort of questioning whether or not it will work. The easiest place to start with this roster is Ayrin. With past success playing for Xset, he was probably the most high-profile pickup from Global Esports with a top 6 finish at the most recent Champions. He is a player that mainly sticks to the Sentinel role with some work on controllers such as Viper and Astra as well. This is going to bring huge value to the team, especially with current chamber nerfs and with experience leading the roster alongside someone like Def. He was a perfect candidate to kick off this squad.
Plus the long plant as well.
What a setup, ECJ clearing it out. Moster has fallen. Oh, and Def does too. Again, you have to keep an eye on the flank. Paterka with 3. There's Cryo on the flank. Cryo gets 2, not able to land the 3rd. Ayrin outnumbered, outgunned, somehow stays alive, and Ayrin gets them both. The Red Bull clutches. Ayrin gets 3. Exit get to 12.
Moving on from this, Global Esports also decided to keep a couple of members from the old team, and the first of these is Lightningfast, a player who seems to have a pretty hefty agent pool ranging from Sentinels to controllers all the way to playing some Rays in recent tournaments. He looks like someone who will slot in very well wherever he is needed. Whether he makes the starting lineup or not right now is another topic altogether, but I think it's clear he has been kept around because of the fact he fulfills a lot of roles within the team and has plenty of flexibility.
Legs up at the wall and the Cosmic Divide. Lightningfast though comes in with aggressive intent. The Showstopper hits 2, and they are plugging it up, a 180, and that is going to be Lightningfast picking up the 4K.
Before we get to the second member kept by Global Esports, I wanted to talk about one of the Korean imports brought into the squad. Obviously, being the Pacific League and with the success of Korean teams, it is no surprise that Global Esports went down that route as well and managed to get one of the more LAN experienced Korean players in Bazzi. Previously playing in Japan on Crazy Raccoon, success was mixed for Bazzi, but again, another player with flexibility to his name, both with vast experience on Jet and Sova, and a truly nasty sniper in the server. I think Bazzi is not only going to bring a bit of extra experience this team could use, but also so much needed firepower heading into 2023.
あとはアデの位置ですよね。その間バッジディフェンダーサイドを抜いていきました。
空爆するアビリティはもう持ってません。
バッジ怖いですよ。ベレータ。
さあ来たぞバッジ。
バッジ。3人目、4人目はバッジだ。
外さない。しかもエースチャンス。
ラストあらず。受講を取った。
さあバッジが待ち構える。バッジ。
This, however, is where the squad gets very interesting. The first 3 players we talked about have roles that don't completely clash within the team, but for the remainder it seems Global Esports has the plan to mold players into different roles rather than find players who actually fit the bill they need. The first of those is SkRossi, again someone from the old Global Esports roster. He has 99% of his games playing the duelist role, and he's someone who's created a vast fandom within India for those explosive jet and chamber plays. He's a man I'm sure many of those fans are very glad to see sticking around in the new roster, and I'm excited to see him on the international stage. The question will be, is he still going to be the star duelist? And as we'll see later on, the answer is probably not.
Yeah, Global aren't thinking twice. Look at skills, look at the way he just enters. They have no intention of backing down. Global Esports are like, if we think of an avenue, we're gonna attack. And look at Rossi, he dashes away, and he gets the 4th kill as well.
Continuing the duelist trend, we have the second Korean import of Texture. Somebody who never quite made it to the international stage with Damwon, but has an insane amount of absurd jet plays. One of the most aggressive players I think I've ever seen touch the game, and flair that could even match the likes of CNED. I can only really see him being brought in to man the duelist role. His stats definitely top the books with this roster, with an average combat score of 261 on Jett, over 118 times played. Even while facing off against tough opposition like DRX, he still seemed to shine.
Flash on the edge of that box. You know, you can throw that aftershock at the stairs. It hits the site.
Texture, he's going hard in the paint. He catches them all stunned up. He's looking for more. Texture goes nuclear.
To finish the roster, we have the two youngsters of the team. The 18-year-old WRONSKI, who used to play for Order, is a player I have to admit I haven't seen too much of going into the creation of this video. But from the few tournament clips alongside his online personality, I can only imagine he is someone many will fall in love with over the coming year. Again, a player with a heavy lean towards Jett, with 79% of his matches played on the Agent. However, the younger players on this roster, I can only imagine, will be shifted over by Ayrin onto maybe Initiator or Flex roles to make proper use of their talents.
Now it's a contest from Hazy for 2, WRONSKI for the trade, and another one as well. He's going nuclear in this round with 3, and now he's got some information. WRONSKI, RDW looking from above the drop as well, sees the barrel. The shots are looking a little bit awkward. He needs to fall on back here. Play off the back of WRONSKI, looking for the ace as well. Maple found one. Is it WRONSKI's time? It is indeed.
Last but definitely not least, we have MONYET, previously of Onyx in Indonesia. If you haven't guessed the running theme by now, this is yet again another player whose main agent pool consists of duelists, although unlike the others, he does actually have a few games on Astra as well, so maybe some of the decision making when looking at this youngster came from that fact. Again, we can say at 17 years of age, I doubt the agent pool, however, was the main factor when picking up this talented youngster, and the plan for Global is to see how flexible he can be going into the future, as normally someone at this age is going to be a lot easier to mold than someone who's been playing for quite a while.
Judge there just to scare off Sersha all the way from that A side, and it's Onyx right now proving the powers of their duelists as MONYET is able to get to so far. So there's a lot of faith right now on MONYET to deliver, and he does not disappoint. 3 immediately in this round. Scary though does find Shiro along the way, able to spot out Sushi Boys there with a jump peek, pinging it just for the rest of the squad, but it'll be reinforcements now arriving, and the wall is there as well for the retake. Can LB more though find a different gun, or will he just push with the Judge instead? But MONYET not done for already. Sushi Boys does get 2, but in behind, here comes MONYET! Here in the icy ways of Icebox, will we get MONYET to get the ace? Sushi Boys though, still calm and collected even. Almost got to take down onto MONYET, and the ace does come online here for Onyx. They relied on him, and they thrive with him.
To finish, I wanted to take a quick look at some of the leaks we've had surrounding the roster and the roles within the team. To nobody's surprise, Texture and Ayrin are in the roles suggested, but from the few screenshots we have seen, SkRossi has actually been one of the ones to make a shift to play some Sova/Fade, while MONYET, with his few games on Smokes, has actually opted to pick up that role. This, alongside WRONSKI having a few games on KO, definitely looks like the youngsters are the one making the major shift. However, the most interesting thing from my perspective is the fact that Bazzi isn't actually shown in these matches at all. Now, it is worth mentioning that I think these games were actually taken from the logs of SkRossi, so it is possible that maybe they're trialing both of the players at the same time in different roles, so we might still see him playing at the event, but it definitely means that a lot of players are looking to come more flexible, as we sort of suggested throughout this video. In conclusion, I think this is definitely a roster we should be looking out for going into Brazil, and maybe more so looking into the Pacific League. I think we've seen that there's definitely been some risks taken by Global Esports, but I think every single player that has been added into the roster by their own merit has something to bring to the team. The main concerns definitely come, however, with the fact that they want to build a 10-man roster, even with 7. I don't think we've really seen too many teams have mass amounts of success with that sort of switch up, especially with different player personalities. We're still going to have to look at the roles. Obviously, players are going to switch in, but whether they are successful is another thing altogether. And the main one is communication. I think players coming from all over the world can make things that little bit more tricky. I'm sure that that was something they looked into before they actually signed the players, but it's still something to keep an eye on, especially going into Brazil. I will still say, though, there's quite a lot of reasons to keep the faith when it comes to Global Esports, bringing some of the best players in, not only from the Pacific, but bringing in Ayrin from abroad, and also the coaching staff they've invested into. Europeans coming from Mad Lions in the form of Spin and Big Time, and the old Dam1 coach as well, Eraser, who's been brought in to try and put that extra structure into the roster. Them alongside a talented individual in Ayrin. I think there's definitely some good hope that this team is going to do some damage. The fact is, though, only time will tell. Either way, that is it for this week's video. Of course, this is something a little bit different. I want to try and do some profiles, taking a look at some of the teams that many may not know too much about, and just give my opinions on what I think is going to be happening going into Brazil, and of course the future of the leagues. If you have enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like and subscribe, and hopefully I'm going to be bringing you many more videos going into 2023.